Today's June 16th, day 22. Very much like yesterday. Cold, wet, miserable. Except colder and wetter, and maybe a little more so, in very light winds. We had, this morning we got a little surprise. We were forced onto the port tack because the wind shifted to the west. So we're beginning to pick up the westerlies at about 38 degrees 50 minutes north, still on meridian 160. And still proceeding pretty much northerly. This morning the winds were stronger. We were able to steer a rumline course for Cape Flattery, which got us all excited. But now we're back to playing between north and 10 or 15 degrees. 10 or 15. Trying to get 30, can't quite make it. But that's okay. You know, we still need to go quite a ways north, which is a little bit depressing because that means it's still going to get more cold. Bree seems to be just curling up and sleeping through it all. She only complains when we make her move, so she's all right. But the two of us, Laura and I, are definitely feeling the effects of the cold. We're unable to stand watches through the night. It's just too much, too cold, too wet, too debilitating, too fatiguing. When I come off watch, it takes me 20 minutes or so to get out of my gear. It's pretty exhausting to get out of all the foul weather gear and those fleeces and put on dry, warm clothes, relatively warm clothes, down below, and get over the retching and heaving that always accompanies that. Still afflicted with seasickness last night. This morning I'm pretty well okay. A breakfast of hot oatmeal and hot cocoa helps a lot. And just finished a lunch of Chinese noodle soup, which in Hawaii we call sai min, but which is marketed under the name of ramen in America. Had our lunch of sai min, which is normal for us. It's a very, very, very good thing to have in these cold, damp conditions, and very easy on the tummy for me. Poring over sailing directions and what have you, we've come to the conclusion that we might as well just give up any hope of having any sunlight until we get there. In the past, when we've been in this area, it's always been bright and sunny and relatively warm and clear. But you know, it's been so long since we've seen the sun that we're beginning to doubt that it's still there. The reality check for us Hawaii people, moving northwards, ever northwards. The constant wet and damp are very hard on our spirits. A little treat of some chocolate, some hot cocoa, that's more chocolate, isn't it? Is very welcome and helps brighten our spirits a bit. Also, you know, we pretty much resigned ourselves to not making a whole lot of progress at night. Our binnacle lights don't work, so it's very hard to keep a course. Can't see anything outside. The only light is from our masthead light. So, I mean, can barely see the sails unless you shine a flashlight on them. You can't see the sea at all. Can't see the waves, the sea state. They just sneak up on you and slap you in the face, come aboard, soak you with cold seawater. So sitting out in the cockpit, and then when the wind drops and you're just bobbing around out there in the rain, it's very, very depressing and very hard on you. So, you know, we have taken to heaving to and cuddling for several hours every night, which of course slows our progress, but it makes us feel a lot better, and it keeps our spirits up. So if you're going to do that, you have to remember to keep a good watch, because although we haven't seen another ship in, 2 weeks now, they are out there, and you have to watch out for them. And we expect to see increasing traffic we expect to see increasing traffic as we get closer to Cape Flattery. If we ever get closer to Cape Flattery. Sometimes it seems like we're experiencing something out of a Stephen King novel here. Nothing but endless fog and rain. Still a lot of trash in the water, not as much as we were seeing a few degrees farther south. Interesting thing, yesterday afternoon, late in the afternoon, right up until dark, actually, we sailed through several miles of small jellyfish floating on the surface. Thousands of them. They're about 3 inches across, little bubbles or sails. Some of them were flat, some of them were bubbled. Just drifting, flowing along the current. We sailed through them for miles and miles. Thousands of them. It was kind of interesting. Of course, the birds are our constant companion. I'm going to have to get a bird guide so I can identify them. I have no idea. Some seagulls recently. I know what those look like. But I'm kind of interested in that. Something to pass the time. We've been conserving our electricity because our solar panels aren't terribly effective without sun. We did run the engine for 2 hours yesterday and topped off our house bank, so our house bank is good. We ran the water maker. Water maker doesn't work as well in cold water, so it takes twice as long to make water, but that's really not a problem. We have plenty of water. We have plenty of water in our tanks and extra jerry jugs, and plus the water maker is what we're using on a daily basis. We have used up some of our tank water because we wanted to lighten the boat. We used up about 15 gallons of it. Laura's having a hard time with the light air out there. The sails are luffing and banging and slatting, and it's hard to keep them filled. The wind was stronger earlier, but it's died off now. It's frustrating because we want to get where we're going, but at the same time, we don't want to risk damaging the boat. We're sailing very conservatively at the moment, having had some awakening experiences earlier in the trip, keeping our sail area down, boat speed down, but we're still doing 5 to 6 knots. So, not right now. Right now we're doing about 2, but we have been doing 5 to 6 knots through the day, and then at night we sail until we can't sail anymore. Can't see to keep a course, or can't see to keep the sails trimmed. Then we heave to, which is something we're getting pretty good at, and come down below and get warmed up. And there's not much more to say because nothing's changed in the last several days. We're just getting colder and wetter and moving farther north, little by little, towards our destination. And I'm rambling, so time to close this segment of our log for June 16th, day 22 of our voyage from Honolulu to Lopez, Washington.
You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away.
Sign at last.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship.